Here we are then, it's May. It's 9 minutes past 8 in the morning. And my 2 fields of soybeans are ready to harvest. My other field of soybeans is coming on, and I'm kind of regretting having planted it because it's not going to be ripe in time to sell it. And I kind of wish I'd planted parsnips, and I've now found or beets or something. I've now found a harvester that's a sensible size, decent size, but not ridiculous, that I could have harvested it, and it wouldn't have taken all day. So we'll do that on another occasion. Let's have a little look at the state of the animals. They could take some food, so we'll give them some food, and then we will go and harvest the soybeans, remembering that they're going to be at their most valuable in a couple of months' time. So let's go and grab some food. Is this thing running? Can't remember. Oh, it is. Oh look, it's dropping straight through the bottom. That's classy animation. Oh my word, it really is running. That's a lot. Let's just pop back and see what the situation is. It's nearly out of minerals. It's running. I wonder whether we should. It looks quite happy, doesn't it? Really. It's got everything it needs. Let's just leave it running. Feed as much of this as we can, and then I'll pop the rest in my store. Too late. Is it too late to change the drain door? There we go. Get a decent wad of stuff. And that is starting to make those lines look a little bit more even. What we really want is for them all to be green. Base food, protein and root crops, all green. But we're getting there. Got a lot of piggies. My Iberian fattening pigs are up to 862 pounds a pop. 704 and 862, so we'll get them up into the thousands and then we'll sell them, I think. I'm going to go and put this back in the store. Might pick up a little bit more on the way. Empty the machine out for the time being. I think we'll use the same combine harvester that we used to harvest the wheat. Let's go for this modded one right at the end, which drives quickly but has a small tank, 10,000 litre tank. It's perfect for this job, harvests lots of things. There we go. I don't quite know what the the icon with the maze and the sort of little sunshine thing behind it means. Whether that means I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. Right, it's £99,000. I don't think we'll buy it outright. I think we will lease it. Let's maybe change the colour of it. Let's make it look like a class. Oh well, that looks pretty grim, doesn't it? And then put no, I don't think I like that very much. What did we do last time? Did we go John Deere last time? Like that. Well, that'll do. What does that make it cost to lease? 5,000. We've got 2 big fields to do. That seems okay. And we will need a header, which will be one of these ones at the end. This is the one. This is the fast header. So we'll get this. There we go. Looking lovely. Let's lease it. Pop this away. Let's just take one load of minerals whilst I'm here. Over to here, even though I don't think it's necessarily going to run out. I did notice that there was a shortage of that's for help. And we were combine fire now. Nice and small, so it's no problem to getting it through the gateways. Soybeans relatively low yield. Seemed particularly noisy today. There we go. Sorry about that. It's a slow old drive. It feels very fast when you're going at 12 miles an hour in the field. It doesn't feel very quick when you're going at 12 miles an hour out on the road. So I'm going to whiz around this first field. I'll remember to unfold everything first. Let's just the header so that I'm happy with it. There we go. That looks good. Because there's no straw, everything is macerated and ploughed back in again. It really does hammer along, this beast. be actually inside one going at this speed. It would be terrifying. Amazing. Hammering along. I'll do one more strip at the top, then I'm going to leave her to it whilst I go in search of a trailer. It's interesting, the yield map there. And how that relates to the soil types. Yeah, loam is the best soil type, it would seem, in terms of yield. This is the yieldy corner. Go, and I am going to take a punt that that's enough room made and that I can let her rip. So I hope that'll all be okay. Let's go and grab a tractor. It'll be interesting to see how much we actually get. I'd be surprised if we fill this trailer more than a couple of times, but we'll see. The yield is low, but the price you get for soybeans is high, so it balances itself out. I think, strictly speaking, barley might be the most profitable crop if you take it's got a high yield, and of course the straw has value as well. It's going to set the cruise control to 12. And then I'm going to go down to this far end, because it'll be driving from the far end to the near end that I'll want to be when I'm unloading. Cool. There he goes. Terrifying speed. Boom. Woof. Only 45% full. So I reckon we'll get one trailer, we'll get one unload out of this field. So that's 10,000 litres. And then the next unload will be in the next field, which will fill the trailer. So we might fill the trailer twice, which would be 40,000 litres. Which is going to be about £160,000 by the time we sell it, maybe. I don't know why it insists on sort of reversing back onto the crop. Maybe it's because I haven't given it enough room at this end. Doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit unsatisfactory. Now then, this ground here has decent pH. We'll put a little bit of lime on it anyway, just to get it up to perfect. And we will have to put nitrogen on it, whatever we decide to plant on in here. And we could go for something like carrots or something like that, because It's not a huge field, and although they take a long time to harvest, obviously in a not huge field, that's less of a problem. When I get down to the other end, I'm going to test a theory, test a hypothesis. In science, a theory is an idea that is supported by an overwhelming amount of evidence. A hypothesis is something that you have yet to test. In science, theory has a slightly different meaning to what it means in everyday life. I'm going to test a hypothesis, which is that this is going to do an awkward turnaround at the far end, where it's going to back in again, like that, which I don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another strip off the end, and then we'll see if next time it does that awkward shuffle, or whether it, in fact we might cut two, give it masses of room. Because it wasn't doing it at the far end. Let's cut two more strips. So we've got three widths to work with. And then maybe it'll turn less awkwardly. That is my hypothesis. Here comes the test. I suspect I will need to fill the trailer on the way down. So I should get ready for that. Lovely cab. Peaceful. Gentle chuntering of the engine. Can't find the radio. Oh, no, that's air conditioning. There'll be a radio somewhere, I expect. Look at it, hammer. Whew. Give myself a little bit of room so I can see what I'm doing. I would not want to be doing this for real. That is scary. Now then, I have immediately messed up testing my hypothesis because I'm offloading. She's going to stay in this position, which is not what she would have done beforehand. So I've made a classic rookie science error, which is that I've changed the conditions. So she has done what I wanted her to do, but I changed the conditions, which makes it an invalid test. So it'll be next time down that we'll find out whether my notion that the reason she did an unattractive turn over the crop was because she didn't have enough room. And I must make sure in the next field that there is always enough room. So I've got a little bit more, no, got a little less than 10,000 litres. She was never quite full, but close. I think I might empty her out before I go into the next field so that she has an empty tank when starting that larger field. Little window up here. No sign of any soybeans arriving yet. Doesn't look like there's much in the way of sort of GPS or smart tech in here, but yeah, that's a much tidier turn, isn't it? So 2 more lengths of the field, I would guess. And then it's done. All in a ridiculously short space of time. And then she is hammering along at twice the speed of any other combine that's available. Albeit with a pretty narrow cutting width. So we're going to turn around here. Just going to leave a tiny bit. It's going to leave a tiny bit, so I'll not worry about being too tight. It's a bit annoying to end up at the wrong end of the field, but it's not the end of the world. Then I can get into this field and mulch it and plough it whilst the other field is being harvested. There's no hanging around. I wonder whether I have enough slurry to put slurry on it. I guess I might do. I'm going to have a look at how much slurry pigs. It's a great demand at South Cooperative. Back in the day, I used to tell you what the great demand was for. Now you have to go scrolling through the menus. But there's probably a way, isn't there? Finding out what the great demand is. Enhanced price for something I don't have. I suppose I ought to look. It's a bit irresponsible not to. I'll just get rid of this. Then set 2 on the next field. Again, it feels slow travelling at 12 miles an hour now. Whereas when it was cutting, it felt very fast indeed. Just whilst we're thinking about our yield map, loamy sand is the lower yielding, sandy loam is middle yielding, and loam is higher yielding. That's why this is always saying 125% yield, because it's almost all loam, and this bit very low yielding. Over here, the green bits are yielding well, the yellow bit yielding slightly less well. I'm not a geologist. I don't know a huge amount about soil types. Something I should look into. I'm sure I'm sure it would have been part of my agricultural biochemistry degree in the agricultural module that I did in the first year, but it was a long time ago and I don't remember it. I remember that the lecturer was Professor Armstrong, who was head of the agriculture faculty. He gave the introductory lecture on farming for the undergraduates who weren't doing straight agriculture, doing a branch of agriculture. Now when I get to the end, I'm going to do three widths. So I'll get up there and then I'll set it going, and then we'll go and see if we can find ourselves a mulching roller. And I'm going to change the livery of it again. Which is a complete waste of money, but you know, it's just a game. Right, I'm going to let that run because that's going to happen 3 times. Just seen my neighbour walking his dog outside. It's very nice. His dog is called Isla, a little spaniel, very cute. Let's. I can continue to alert that. Might turn the engine off. Let's spark this little chap up, and we will go. Let's say it's 246 horsepower. It's a monster. It's absolutely massive. But, yeah, you know, in game terms, he's not that big. I suspect all of this kit is a bit too big for these farms and these fields, but it just gives me a little bit of flexibility. Right, let's have a look. We'll do a little repair on that. Do a little repair on that £3 repair, I can afford that. And we're just going to customise it. We want it to be a mulching roller, and we now want it to have Fendt Classic body and the Fendt Red wheels. And I'm ashamed to spend £575 on that. Maybe that's the last time I'll do that. Maybe that's the last time I will have it repatented. It is pathetic, but I can't help myself. I gotta watch the. I gotta watch that bottom line, £147,000. I guess I've got 160,000, £170,000 worth of crop that I'm going to be able to sell in 2 months' time. I've probably got £30,000 worth of pigs to sell. I'm going to need to think about where some decent income is going to come from if we're going to get a herd of cows, which are quite expensive to look after. That must be 3 times, mustn't it? Otherwise it wouldn't be pointing in this direction. So we could start going up and down, and then I'm going to have to do a couple more strips at the other end. This is very poor alignment. Missed a bit. Let's go around. Go down that side. I think that road is a bit of an obstacle. Puts the worker off. He doesn't want to drive out into the road, even though I've very sensibly turned all the traffic off. So there's no chance of him bumping into anybody. So he's smashing up all those stalks and redistributing them as a sort of mush. Oh, he's in the crop. He's in the crop. Disaster. That's because I need to cut some space at this end. turn, so I'll help out. I'm guessing most of these soybeans are going to animal feed rather than human feed. There's too many of them really to become soy sauce or something. And they're a very good source of protein. Now then, I'm going to go with vegetable source of protein. Increasingly important that we find good non-animal sources of protein, because essentially traditional farming methods are not brilliant at converting plant material into animal protein. I mean, they are brilliant at it, but it's not terribly efficient. And it may be that we're going to need some different ways of doing it in the future. If that's not too political. Might be too political. Let's go 94%. So just need to find out what's going on here. That is inevitable. Things have just got out of hand, so I'm going to get myself lined up here, and then I can whiz up and unload. I won't unload on the move. I'll wait for the combine to stop and then unload. About to stop. There it goes. I don't have enough room for all of it, but I've got enough room for some of it. And then I need to work out what's going on here. Let's do a little end piece so that I have room to turn. What I did is I just get down. It's quite hard to see where you've been, but if you get down low, you can see there are no stalks here and there are stalks there. And then when I get to the end, I'll go up and down. Go. Now, if I'd bought all small kit that was more appropriate for the farm, I'd still have a lot more money in the account. It may well prove to be something that I regret at a later stage. There's no reason why I shouldn't sell off this big tractor if it turns out to be just too big for the size of farm that I'm running. It just means it takes a little bit more time to accumulate the necessary wealth. I don't think I need to buy any more equipment because I can rent the thing that we're thinking about is, for example, this here, I think is a it's got a cow shed built into it. No, that's not the one. This is the one with the cow shed, and that's 256,000. So this is a whole cow unit with an automatic feeder. So if I was going to buy that, this is a grass field, which could be turned into something else, and it comes with some property. That might be an option, or perhaps a field like this 133. That's 92,000. 22 here is 174,000. So there are some things out there. Where have we got to? That's all happy. This is all happy. Good. We won't know until we've sold the soybeans how much money we've got to play with. I don't think we've got two perfectly good tractors. I'm trying to think if there's any equipment that we use regularly other than the combine that we might want to buy. Oh, the seeder. Yeah. Sowing option. We could buy the one that we've used a couple of times, which is £45,000, but we need a seeder rather than a planter. Something that'll do wheat and barley and sorghum and things of that sort. Otherwise we are limited to only doing soybeans, sunflowers, maize. It's not very limiting. And I wonder whether it will plant things like carrots, because it might be fun to do some root crops. This is the fellow that we've been using, this one here. No, so it'll do turnips. I'm not interested in cotton, but it won't do carrots. This fella, these two, which are mighty big fellas, they do lots of stuff. I don't think. I think to plant carrots you probably need a specialist carrot planter. We'll look at that in a moment. Combine probably need emptying when it gets down to the other end. Hopefully it'll make it all the way down here before it needs emptying. Get all the remaining soybeans into this trailer. Nice to think that there's more than that. Hard to tell it is. Charged at by this thing. 96%. Let's see if we can follow it. Get filled up on the move. Fairly terrifying at this speed. We're doing okay, just got to hold my nerve. When we get to the end, the combine will probably stop and finish emptying if it hasn't finished emptying, which it doesn't look like it has. There we go. It's fill up the front section first. There we go, lovely job. Up there to this end. Looks like the mulching is completed over there. Which means it's ready to plough. So we could swap tractors at this point. I could go and pick up the plough. Which, although technically is pullable by that other tractor, in practice it's better to use this one. And then we won't put this up completely away, we'll park it on the field over here, and then we'll hooch up to the trailer, and I'll use this tractor for grain hauling as the ploughing is going on. All is well. Now then, let's whip a strip at the top here. Oh, careless. I'm just going to need to do a strip at the bottom, and then I can leave her to crack on with it on her own. Might need to go make myself another cup of tea in a moment. Now then, what is going on here? Oh yes, okay. little way away from needing to do anything here. Hammering down. Still only 50% full. Not going to get much off this field, are we? It's quite depressing. When is a good time to harvest sunflowers? That is December, and we're in May. Soybeans, so the current price is 3,500, and the best price is in July at nearly 4,000. It'd be really good if we could get 4,000 for it. Sunflowers is a thing we could plant, and best price is in February, which is quite a long way away. It'd be nice if we had something that's best price was in October that we could legitimately plant. If we grew sugar beet, it would be to feed our pigs with, I think. Let's just go down to the sort of carroty, parsnippy neck of the woods. Ah, that's dried corn. That's what that little symbol means. I don't know why then it appeared as being a thing that you could plant. You can't plant dried corn. That's a mistake. Down we go. There we go. Red beet is best in July. Carrots are best in July. Parsnips best in July. So I think the answer is that we're going to plant sunflowers. They're pretty. You get a decent return on them, a decent yield, decent amount of money. I think that's the way to go. 76%. Very nearly done here. Have we skipped any bits? Can't see any bits have been skipped. Cool. And as I say that, there's a bit right there. It's been missed. We might do something different with the big field. We'll mulch it, but we won't plough it. We'll direct drill it, because then we'll see some different textures, perhaps. That's where it's skipping bits. Then take an executive decision. I won't make it down to the end. Will I make it down to the end? 12% space left in my vehicle. Maybe I'll make it down to the end. Oh yes, 1%, comfortably. 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%. Oh, is it going to make it to the end? Is it going to make it to the end? Oh my word, that's mad. I don't know if I'll get it all in. I have a feeling that maybe I won't. Because it was over 50% full already, the trailer. Yeah. Well, that's alright. There's still a fair bit of field left. Whether there's another trailer full of field left or not is another matter. Let's go and tip this. Now, I wonder whether it's time to switch back again. I think I need to go and pick up the planter. Sunflowers, I think it is. Maybe we push the boat out and we actually pay for the thing outright. Should only leave us 100,000, but we've got crop. Well, if all else fails, we can borrow a bit of money off the bank, but I'm hoping we won't have to do that. So, oh yeah, I was just going to have a little look and see whether sort of carrot planters come under miscellaneous. Or was there a thing now called root crops? I just made that up. Rollers, grass care, disco subsoilers, seeders, planters, plows, mulchers, stone pickers, grape technology, vegetable technology. There we go. So in here we have various things. So that plants beetroots, carrots and parsnips. It's a 3-metre planter, not very expensive. That one is a 6-metre planter. That one looks like it's a lifter. I got a that's a 0.8 metre plant harvester. I got a under beet technology. There's a whole load of ridiculous stuff under beet technology, but I think I just found this, which is a 3-metre harvester, which is probably enough, and it does carrots and beets and parsnips as well. 3 meters is probably enough. Ooh. Anyway, what were we here for? We were here for thinking about maybe buying one of these. £45,000, 10 meters. It does 3 potential crops. I'm still not sure if I want to buy one out and out. I'm just going to lease it because I use it so little. Let me just tidy this up. Don't want to leave the combine waiting. I expect the combine is still moving. Let's just tidy that a little bit up. And let's whip down here and tidy the two little bits up down here that need tidying up. Otherwise, weeds will grow there. And then if I whip this back to the shed, and I can hook up to the trailer and get back onto grain hauling duties. The other thing I could do, which I never remember to do, is to look at the second-hand stuff. That one's all right. There's a whole second-hand market. So there's a second-hand Valtra there. There's a second-hand whatever that is. A tank of some description. Oh, a seed tank. And that is interesting because that is a second-hand slurry tank. And we do have slurry. That's 15 meters width. It's got a smallish tank, but it doesn't require much to pull it. Almost get the electric tractor to pull it. But it would be a way of using up our slurry, and it's only 11. It's nearly half price, 11,000. So I think we might buy that, and just have it there as a little bonus. So it might be able to do the slurry on one of the small fields, and then save us buying fertilizer. Of course, it's second hand, so it'll be in need of maintenance. Right, 89%. So we know that this will not make it back down to the end before it needs filling up. It will stop a yard or two from the end, assuming that the yield along here is exactly the same. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll cut it a little bit wider, so I'm taking less on board. See if I can make it to the other end. Slightly reduce the cutting width. I'm going to be here for it. It's grinding to a halt. There we go. Didn't quite make it. Not to worry. Trailer's right here. Ha! Thank you. I've got a comment, which is very exciting. Yeah, my mic's not very close to me, so I hope that's a little bit better. Whee! I wasn't looking. I'm sorry about that. King Dozer 007. Your old age, goodness me. We're probably both struggling with the same thing then. Let's just nip off this little bit here. Could turn the game sound down a bit. turn my mic up a touch. Maybe that's a little bit, oh, that's a little bit better. Nearly drove into the JCB in the excitement of having a comment. My first ever comment. There we go. Now then, what was I thinking? Oh yes, I know. I was going to pick up this second-hand slurry tank that I've bought and whip it back down to the farm, and we'll see if there's enough slurry in the piggery to cover the field that we've just ploughed. It's a possibility. Ooh. I'm all excited about having had a comment now, and I can't drive straight. Can't really think about anything else. In we go. What's the pH situation? pH value's okay, so that's not good enough. We'll whack some lime on there first, and then we'll see what the slurry situation's like. If I haven't got enough, I shall buy slurry. From my on-farm dispenses everything miracle container. Not very realistic. Well, you know, if they existed, everyone would have one. And they exist in the game. So I've got one. I'm going to turn the game sound down a touch. Just fiddling with stuff. Got a bit of lime in there. Oh, it's quite heavy. It's very easy to jackknife it, as demonstrated there. Now I might not need to do a little strip at this end because there's quite a lot of room to turn, so I'm going to attempt to do this all in one go, but I will need to do a strip at the other end. Have I given myself enough room? What do we think? Oh yeah, that's about right. Well, bit wasteful. Combine 36%, so no need to be fussing with that. And here we are, adding tiny amount of lime. But that's the advantage of having all this clever technology on board, is you only put on as much as you need. There we go. Lovely stuff. Let's go round the tree. What with there being no traffic and everything, not a huge problem. And let's hammer up this side. Let's see how the old combine's getting on. About half full. So we may get one complete trailer load out of this field. That would be nice. Of course, I could just speak more loudly. Microphone is like 2 feet away from me. Maybe I'm muttering. Do 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 do. Round. Around we go. I have decided that I am going to do a strip at the top after all, even though I said I wouldn't. Something about consistency being... what is the quote about consistency? Doo-doo. Around we go. Lime is either... it's probably just powdered calcium carbonate, I would think, rather than being calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide, slaked lime, quite nasty stuff. It might just be powdered calcium carbonate, which reacts with any acid in the soil. Of course, the harmful thing about that is because it releases carbon dioxide when it does it. Whereas if you just use calcium hydroxide, A, it's a stronger alkali, so you don't need as much of it, and B, it doesn't react with acid to produce a carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. It would react with any sulfuric acid in the soil, which you might get from acid rain, from sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere, to produce calcium sulfate, which is gypsum, which is what sticks of chalk are made from. We're playing and we're learning. Happy times. Let's get a little bit closer, in case we're needed. I reckon we're going to be needed about 2/3 of the way down the other side, but we'll see. 79% full. As long as it starts its descent less than 95% full, should make it all the way to the end. Yeah, I think it's going to make it comfortably all the way to the end. It's got 16% of capacity, and in the past that's been more than enough. I wonder. Oh, I could turn the mic up to kind of max 0 dB. I don't think there's any ambient room noise to worry about. I haven't got the game coming through speakers, so we're all right. The kids are all right. Let's I feel like I can smell burning, but that might be just my imagination. Maybe somebody nearby is having a bonfire. I don't think the burning's coming from inside the house. Oop. Oop. There we go. Oh, for goodness sake, this is catastrophic. What's going on here? There we go. There we go. It's going all over the place. Very poor. I seem to be going too quick, and I couldn't work out why I was going too quick when I set my cruise control to be 12. Anyway, this will fill her up. So I'll go and tip that, and then anything left in the combine I can tip by driving straight down to the tip in the combine. So we're all limed up in that field. Just whilst I'm here, I'm going to leap out and have a quick look. What's the lime situation like? pH value is good. I shan't bother putting any lime in this field then. I'm not going to plough this field either. I'll mulch it and then I'm going to direct drill it and use artificial fertiliser, and then at a later stage I will have to deal with the weeds, which hopefully I'll be able to do with a weeder, which is a sort of passive process rather than using any chemical spray. Not that I object to chemical spray, it's just a bit cheaper. What I object to is spending money. Everything is chemicals. It's just a question of using them sparingly. Now then, let's wiggle in here. Lovely stuff. Pop this away. And there we go. Oh, that's all lovely and peaceful. We're at 1 hour and 12 minutes. I think I'm going to have a little bit of a pause. I'll just put this away. And hook up the mulcher, start mulching that big field. Looks to me like the combine might have finished. I have rented a planter, and it is sitting there, but because it's not actually being used, it's not costing me anything extra at the moment. It's just sitting waiting to be used. You only get charged extra for hours that you operate it and for days that you hang on to it. But I'm going to finish using it today. I'll do all the sowing hopefully today. It is 2:20, so I'm going to have to crack on, but hopefully I'll get to use it today. Otherwise I'll have to pay for it again, which would be a bit annoying. I'm going to get this field mulched. I'm going to first of all do strip at the end here, possibly a couple of them, and then a couple at the far end, and then let her roll. This is quite a quick moving machine, so I don't think it will take very long to do this quite large field. Let's get myself all wiggled and organised. Wiggly wiggly, organisey. And there we go. Mr. Combine is complet. And where is he? He's as far away from the farm as he could possibly be. So I'm going to whiz back to the farm at a mighty 12 miles an hour. Oof. I'm going to be giving this back to the rental company in quite a state. But they never seem to complain, even though it's absolutely filthy. There's my mulcher. I'll just assist with the turnaround here because it's a little bit tight with the tree and everything. Just going to go out and have a little look. Yeah, that's where we want to be. It's a bit too much overlap. It's not very efficient. Never mind. it'll be fine. Back into the combine. God, I ran quickly then, didn't I? It's quite scary that the visibility is so poor. I'm going to have to come outside here to make sure I don't hit anything. A bit noisier on the outside. And we can tip the remaining little bit of crop. I wonder if it'll do it even when I get out of it. Then I can have a little look and see how much. So we've ended up with so I was hoping for 80,000 litres of soybeans, and we've got 74,000 litres. So actually, I thought at one point that I'd only get 40, didn't I? And I was saying I'd have 160,000. So it's actually nearer pushing 300,000 pounds worth of soybeans potentially. Maybe more. Maybe more. If I get 4,000 per litre. I'm going to return this to the company that I rented it from. Because I've harvested all my harvestable crops. I'll have a little look, see how we're doing here. Right, enough of this side-to-side business. Let's go up and down. And I'll do a little strip at the top, and then she can just crack on. Meanwhile, I could have a little experiment with putting on some slurry for the first time. Notoriously, slurry tanks run out very quickly, and there's a lot of to and fro. But it's only a little field, so I don't think that matters. But this is a small tank with quite a big throw, quite a wide throw. So, and I took some slurry out and put it in my store the other day. So this isn't all the slurry that's available. Go, 8,200 litres now. I don't think that'll last very long. But, as I say, every little helps. It's quite pleasing putting it on after I've put on the... Now, what sort of width are we going for? So, let's have a look. Does it know... Oh yeah, it knows it's got... The old Isaria Pro is doing its thing. What happens if I just hire a worker? That's pretty accurate in terms of getting to the edge. Not perfect, but fairly accurate. Doesn't matter that I've missed a little bit. Oh, is that really as far as you're going? That's a bit pathetic. I'm gonna take over. Go right to the end. I want to upset the local authority by kicking up a stink. Let's go down this side. Let's hope I have judged that reasonably well. Oh, I've judged that terribly. Oh, never mind. It's better than nout, and it reduces the amount of fertilizer that the seeder will plant. Oh, I've been raided with a party of two. How incredibly lovely. I'm going to press my thank you button. Whee! I don't really know what that means, but thank you. So I've had my first chat, my first raid. Oh, It's non-stop. I'm going to whiz around the end here. I got distracted then, and I missed the fact that there's a huge chunk of this field that I missed down the bottom. So round I come. Go from here. Yeah. Well, I think this tank is holding up well. I might just refill it before I start going back up the other side, because I'm near to my underground liquid store, my highly unrealistic underground liquid store that holds everything. Let's see if I've got any slurry that I can add to this tank. Oh yeah, very conveniently I have. Just sort of drops from the sky magically straight into the tank. Just like it doesn't happen in real life. And so it isn't hugely improving the nitrogen value of the soil, but I'm sure it will reduce the amount of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, that I'll need to put on. And it's a good way to use the byproduct of the pig production. I'm just going to go and see how things are going over here, because I suspect that we're in a state of chaos. I don't quite know what you're doing. I need to get nice and close to the ground so I can see where I've been. Okay, there we go. Let's have a look at the map to see what's been mulched and what hasn't been mulched. Oh yeah, well I'm not far away from where I need to be. Let's get out and have a look. Okay. I need to straighten myself up. I probably shouldn't have interfered and just let him get on with it. There we go. We're going to miss a bit. We're probably going to miss a bit. Oh dear, not to worry. Hopefully this will keep going right the way to the end. Nice work. A little bit low. Let's have a top up while we're here from my underground storage of all things. Even though underground storage of all things is definitely not a thing. Big old fill up. And let's go back up here and see if I can judge the distance. I'm hopeless at judging the distance of these things. Yeah, see, missed a bit. Really annoying. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with this second-hand piece of kit for these small fields. It's doing a pretty good job. And because I've got slurry storage at both ends of the field, there's not a lot of carting around between whiles. Well, that's my argument. I'm sticking to it. Do you think that the remaining strip can be done in one if I get lined up right down the centre? Yeah. Perfect. Not the neatest bit of slurry spreading of all time, but it's not a competition. It just means that when I get round to sowing sunflowers in a moment, I will use less fertilizer, which has got to be a good thing. It's all about the bottom line. I'm going to dump the remaining little bit of slurry back into my ridiculous but marvellous underground storage facility. It's like being some sort of evil genius to have an underground storage facility. And I'm going to pop this right here. That was close, wasn't it? There we go. Let's get it tucked out of the shade. Lovely. Oh, I'm pleased with that. That was good. Now I want to whiz off and pick up the planter. Just before I do that, let's check in on this guy. Now, I never did a strip at the end to allow for turning, so I will just whiz the whole way down the end, because it's quite busy end of the field, and turning is difficult when it's a busy end to the field. Let's whiz along here. Mostly it's all been done and it's absolutely fine. But there are bits that have not been done. That's looking good. And then I will head back down t'other way. Very nice. And let's set the worker going again. Whiz around here, magically pass through some road markers, knock over a fence, a sign, excellent. Poor council worker will come out overnight and put it back up again. I will deny all knowledge. Out here somewhere. Yeah, it's looking good. And that field is close now to being done. Whether I've given myself enough turning space there, we have yet to discover. I'm going to whiz off and grab the planter, not the seeder, the planter. And come back here with it. Ooh. In order to pop in some of them, there are sunflowers. Which I'm doing because it's one of the things the planter will plant. Not because it's necessarily absolutely what I want to plant. But this very large, very cheap planter happens to do them. So it's a pragmatic choice. There's money to be made out of sunflowers. I'm in France at the moment, and there are lots and lots of fields of sunflowers, some of which look like they are soon to be harvested. They've gone very brown, and the heads have tilted down. And I've never been out here at sunflower harvesting time, so I've never seen any sunflowers being harvested. I've seen maize being silaged and being cut for grain, and I've seen wheat and barley, obviously, but not the sunflowers, because I've never been out here this late in the season. But this year I'm out here until the first week of October, so I will get to see all sorts of things. Now I think I've got some seeds in my magical underground storage facility that couldn't possibly be true. So I'm going to, I just want to see if those are genuine, if those are real. Oh, decapitate yourself. Are these real? Oh, these are real. And those are fertilizer. I don't quite know how to get to those. They must have come with the farm. That's a bonus. I use my little tractor perhaps to acquire those. Have I got seeds here, and can I fill up seeds here? Ooh. I can is the answer. And the next thing I need is some solid fertilizer, which I don't think I've got any in my amazing underground storage facility that couldn't possibly exist. No, but I do have 2 sacks of it sitting over there, and it's a question of whether or not I can get close enough to it to take advantage of it, because it'll auto load if I can get close enough. But I don't know that I... Oh, it says refill seeder. Oh, check that out. That's a happy day. We can put a little bit more in. Ooh. Now I'm not going to make the mistake I made. Oh, yes I am. I'm just going to empty it all again. I was about to say I'm not going to make the mistake I made last time, which is to have the wrong crop. Let's just do that. That's all full. And then let's refill that side. Ping, seeds. Boop, boop. A little bit more. Is 90% as full as it's going to get. Okay, at least I've managed to move those bags to somewhere more convenient. Let's have a quick look and check, see what they are. That is solid fertilizer. That is 144. Object too heavy. Okay, 2 small bags of fertilizer. This thing's got plenty of seeds. Now what I want to do is make sure I'm planting the right crop, because last time I started the field with the wrong thing and had to eat buckets of humble pie. Now we're going to have all sorts of technology going on here, because we're going to have variable seed rates, we're going to have variable nitrogen applications. I'm going to turn on the crop sensor, which hopefully means that it's going to be sunflower specific, increasing nitrogen level for optimal value for sunflowers on loam. Yeah, I think that that is the technology. I'm going to do 2 strips at this end. Lovely animation on the wheels. Nice work. So there's a little bit mist there, so I'm going to just drive out onto the field. Do that bit myself. I mean, not drive onto the field, drive onto the road. And then we're going to turn around and do another strip to provide a turning point at the end of the field for the worker in a moment. I mean, I appreciate that I'm putting a worker on it now. That's just to make sure the lines are straight. I don't trust myself to do a decent job. 4 o'clock. Am I going to get both fields sown today? That is the question. It's a huge question. Normally I play this game with time set to real time. But it occurred to me that it would work better if I had time going a little bit faster. Some people do it at 15 times, I think. I've gone for 5 times, which seems to be working quite nicely. Doesn't mean I can get a lot done in the day, but also the day progresses. I'm just going to have a quick check on the state of my piggies. All good by the looks of things. 862, some of them are worth. That's exciting. When they get to 1,000, I'm going to sell them. I don't know if that's a good thing. 1,000 seems like a decent price for them. I'm not sure what the maximum price for piggies, fat piggies, is. And I've got 75, very nearly 75,000 litres of soybeans to sell, and if I can get 4,000 pounds per 1,000 litres, that should be £300,000. Is that right? You know, I've got a science degree. I should be able to do elementary maths in my head. £300,000 would be nice. It'd be really nice. That would be in July. So we're May at the moment. Come on, you can do it. Oh, go all the way. Come on. Now I think I can leave this to just get on with it. Try not to hit too many things. Yeah, that little bit of railing there has been my undoing on several occasions. Some bits have collisions, some bits don't. That railing has a mighty collision. In the real world, that would have done serious damage, and planting season would have ground to a halt, and I would have been not very popular in the Hurrah 799 household. Maybe I need to add another comment to my stream deck other than thank you. Need more variety. I'm just going to pick up that. It's my little electric tractor. I love my little electric tractor. I'm just going to pick up that fertilizer that I made a bit of a mess of and put it into my store. Can't just have it lying around like this. Scruffy. It's also expensive. About 800 kilograms of it, I think. No. 544 litres of it. Completely the wrong unit, the wrong number. It's pretty much wrong about everything. Whilst I'm here, I will just pick up some of the protein for animals from my protein for animals manufacturing unit, which I suspect will have stopped, having run out of stuff. Oh, is that a bit more? Is that fertilizer or seeds there? I suspect this is seeds. If it's seeds, I might just... Yeah, the seeds. I'll just pop that into the little storage, underground miracle storage unit that couldn't possibly exist in real life. But which, if it did exist in real life, would be awesome. just tip anything in, automatically goes to the right place and is stored sort of indefinitely, never goes off, and is instantly available when you need it. I mean, that is the way to go, isn't it? When farms have AI, maybe, or more AI than they already have, maybe that'll be one of the things. I'm just going to have a little look, see what the situation is here. It's running. It's still got everything it needs. It's low on barley, low on water. I'm just going to let it run until it runs out, I think. Because I've got quite a lot of this in store, and we're getting to the point where I'm getting the food supply even for the pigs. Initially, I didn't know about this protein for animals stuff, and so I didn't give them any. But now, it's just tidying up a bit. Base food, protein, root crops. It's getting tidier. Oh, I can't even take it all. Well, I'll leave you there and come back to you later. Are you claiming to have finished this field, Mr. Worker? Yeah, you are. I think with some justification you're claiming to have finished the field. That is great. I'm going to sow straight into this mulched field because the planter has the capacity to plant into an uncultivated field. Uncultivated. Doesn't read Shakespeare or listen to classical music. Oh. Don't start doing thousands of pounds worth of damage. Get a grip. Will I be able to see? Yeah. Not very well popped, that is it. Let's tidy that up again. There we go. I don't think we're putting lime on this big field, are we? I think we decided that we were not putting lime on this big field. Because it said that, broadly speaking, the pH of the field was good. If it drops as low as okay, I tend to do something about it. pH value is good. pH value is good. So we're going to have weeds to deal with here because I haven't ploughed it. Not going to plough it. But we will have to deal with the weeds. This field is coming together. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing with the Fendt is that I'm going to be rolling that field. Of course, I've parked the roller. What I actually need to do is to grab the roller and convert it to a field roller from being a mulching roller so that I can roll that field. These kind of work inefficiencies are what cost businesses millions. Got to be somebody with an overview. Got to write myself some notes. Let's whip in here. See if there are any repairs that need doing. £184 worth of repairs. Let's do it. £22 worth of repairs. Let's do it. Customise it. It needs to be a field roller, which doesn't cost anything because that's how it was when I bought it. Splendid. This means that I can just gently firm up the surface of this field. Now, I find this quite difficult because I can't see the varying textures. As in, I don't think that, you know, it's going to look the same after it's been rolled as it looked before it's rolled. The only thing that happens is that any stones that are present get pushed down. I've turned field stone off, but there have been some stones. And this reckons it's done it. Looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to start it up, spin that around, and we'll put a little bit more fertilizer and some more seeds in. And I wonder whether I can do that from my big old underground, not very realistic storage unit. I should have some seeds in there. I've literally just dumped some seeds in there. Whether I can use it at this jaunty angle. There we go, start filling. Lovely. Oh. Pop those lids down. Let's have a little look, see how we're doing here. I'm going to start going the other way up the field. Now that I've got a turning space. Don't know where I got to. Oh, that's where I got to. Let's have a little look and see. The needs rolling is slowly getting consumed. I'm just going to hit save, which is the thing I like to do. And I think I've got pretty good. I'm going to get, because I didn't put slurry in the big field, I'm going to get through more fertilizer. So I will see if I can squeeze a little bit more fertilizer in. Yeah, there we go. Now we are full, and I get to see the beautiful animation again. I think fairly usual form. I'm going to go up to the end. I'm going to go up to the end before I do my side to sides. I don't know how long sunflowers take to be ready, how many monthly cycles they take. I ought to have a little chart, because I know that different crops take different amounts of time in the game, as they do in real life. But if I had my little chart, I could do my planning a bit better, because I'm not playing seasonally. It always looks like it's June. Now you see, that is a nice texture. And so when I come to roll, it'll be very obvious that I've rolled. So that's going in well. It's adding quite a lot of nitrogen, a lot more nitrogen than in the previous field where I put slurry down, which is why you put slurry down. So we've got weeds growing, we've got needs rolling. pH value's only okay there. Okay, it's varying a little bit from place to place. I've taken a bit of a punt not putting any lime down. It's expensive, you know, not hugely expensive. It's expensive to put lime down if your corresponding yield increase isn't enough, then it turns out it wasn't probably a worthwhile thing to do. How far are you going to go? Right up to the edge? Oh, not quite. Okay, let's swing around and do a couple of strips at the top. What crop is that in there? That is chickpeas. Oh, that's rather nice, isn't it? Perhaps we should do a bit of that. I would need a seeder. This is just a planter, so it only plants certain crops. It does lentils, corn, sunflowers, cotton, and sugar beet. Is this thing? Ah, it's doing a great job. I didn't bother doing strips at the left-hand end because there's lots of room to turn, so it never seems to have a problem. How are we in the cab? Looking good. It'd be lovely when there's a bit of in-cab animation as well. The mirrors, I think, are amazing. It'd be quite nice if the screens in the cab reflected what was going on outside. That's not happening in FS25, but maybe at some point in the future, when our games consoles are even more powerful. I'm playing on an Xbox S, which I think is a pretty amazing thing. I am contemplating getting a PC just for playing this game on, but I'm going to need some kind of a windfall, I think, for that to happen. Would be nice, and have a steering wheel and pedals and all of that jazz. They've got some quite nice stuff out there. I am thinking about getting a steering wheel for this. I'm so comfortable with the Xbox controller. The only thing I'm not very good at is just driving on the roads. It's just like when I played Gran Turismo or what did I play back in the day? What's that game by Rockstar Games where you drive around shooting people? I was hopeless at it. Shooting people's just not in my... It's not the shooting people, I don't have an objection to that. It's the driving, I just do it really badly. Just a tiny little strip left to do at the end. Oh, there's a real tractor's just gone down the road. I'm set up, when I'm set up here, I can look straight out of the window at this rather lovely field, which has been sown with grass. They took a hay crop off it this year. Last year it was maize, and when they harvested it, as they turned around at this end of the field, the spout swung out over the road, and my friends who were in my pool got covered in maize chaff. It was very exciting. Pool sounds more glamorous than it is. It's an above ground, vinyl plastic bag around a metallic frame. It's not some sort of glorious device. I'm not being defensive about it. It's a modest pool. Nice thing to splash in when it's 40 degrees outside, which it is not, sadly. We're down into the damp low 20s at the moment, which at least does mean that it's too damp to be doing anything important in the garden rather than being in here playing this game. Now I think that when I've got the worker happily humming up and down, I am going to stop the stream and go and think about 11s and contemplate any jobs that need to be done around the house. Got more laundry to do. It's always laundry to do. I've just had a house full of guests, and I've got more guests arriving next week, so I've got to smarten the place up. But we're a little bit more to do. I'm going to whiz down to the end. Whiz up to the far end, do another horizontal strip, then start the worker going. Meanwhile, here it is, it's coming up for 6 o'clock. We're going to need to put lights on. Do you think this has been completely rolled, or is that unrolled? That's an unrolled bit. I think it just got into the road and it didn't like it. There we go. I'm going to want to get this field rolled before. Oh, that's interesting. It's going that way. Right, let's whiz up here. Big turning space this end. Let's put one more strip of turning at the far end. And then we can let her run. I think I might have taken my eye off the ball there at a crucial moment. Oh, and that reminds me, I've got a test match starting today, haven't we? So we might have a bit of test match commentary running in the background when I stream this afternoon, so that we know what's going on there. Crucial stuff. Had a comment to say that can't hear my vocals very well, but I did turn the mic up, so I'll go and have a listen to the recording of the stream and see what I think. So far I thought that the audio was pretty good. In fact, partly I was a bit embarrassed that my voice was too loud. You know, self-conscious as I am, in heavy disguise. Oh. That's quite close to being not good enough. Maybe we can argue it's perfect, but I don't want to leave an unplanted area. I think we're going to be rolling this in the dark, might even be sowing in the dark, but the weather is okay, forecast is good, so we get the job done. Sowed and rolled, it's fine. I'll deal with the weeds. I think it'll only be weeds. Once it's rolled, I think the only thing left to deal with will be the weeds. And I might hire if the weeds are small enough, I'll hire a mechanical weeder and whiz up and down in that rather than spray. You know, got to consider your environmental impact if you have an alternative. Right, enough wittering. I'm going to save the game like that. And I'm going to say goodbye. And I'll see you this afternoon. Farewell.